All right, today we are diving deep into one of India's most massive undertakings, the Central Vista redevelopment. We're going to take a look inside its new core, the Kartavya Bhavan, and try to answer a pretty big question. Can you actually modernize a government just by changing the buildings it works out of? Let's get into it. You know, this line right from the official explainer really sets the stage. This isn't being talked about as just some big construction project. No, it's being framed as a symbol, a story about a nation physically redesigning its own administrative heart for a completely new chapter. But to really get what this new flight is all about, you first have to understand just how deep the old foundations go. So let's start by taking a quick trip back in time to Raisina Hill. So for more than 100 years, Raisina Hill has been the center of power in India. Think about it. Back in 1911, the capital moves from Kolkata, and this whole area is built from scratch for the British administration. By 1931, you have the iconic buildings we all recognize. And here's the wild part. Through independence and all the way into the 21st century, those very same buildings have been the main home for India's government.
And that long life, nearly a century of nonstop use, is exactly where the problems started to show, especially for a country that was growing and changing so fast.
And this really shows you what that looked like in reality. I mean, it kicked off with a huge logistical headache. Different ministries were spread out all over Delhi, and that, of course, made simple things like departments talking to each other a super slow, sometimes painful process. And what about inside those historic buildings? Well, they were really feeling their age. We're talking poor lighting, not enough modern facilities, and just costing a ton to keep up.
And let's talk about the money. According to the source, the government was shelling out around 1,000 crore rupees. That's about 120 million US dollars every single year. And for what? Just to rent office space for all those scattered ministries? So this wasn't just an inefficient setup, it was a really, really expensive one.
So that was the real question on the table. You've got this system that's not just working badly, it's literally set in stone. How do you fix that? You couldn't just slap a Band-Aid on it. This needed a complete rethink. And that is where the Central Vista project comes into the picture. It's this huge, comprehensive plan that was designed to tackle every single one of those problems we just talked about.
The whole idea here is pretty straightforward. Take every single flaw of the old system and just reverse it. It's like they made a list of everything that was broken, scattered, slow, expensive, and said, okay, let's build the exact opposite. Okay, so how does this big vision actually look on the ground? Let's zoom in on the brand new nerve center of this whole operation, the Kartavya Bhavan. So what exactly is Kartavya Bhavan? Well, simply put, it's the new all-in-one central secretariat. The name itself, which translates to Hall of Duty, kind of gives away its main job, to bring dozens of ministries that were once all over the city together under under a series of interconnected roofs. And the scale here is just huge. This new complex is being built to house over 60,000 government employees. The idea behind this massive consolidation is to make everything more efficient, to get people to collaborate more, and really to fundamentally change how the central government works. And the idea of modern here goes way beyond just the architecture. I mean, sure, the buildings are designed for a paperless e-office system, and they've got green tech like solar panels and rainwater harvesting. But here's what's really interesting, the focus on people. We're talking built-in gyms, yoga rooms, even music rooms. This is a clear shot at redefining the entire culture of government work. But this whole project is about so much more than just new office buildings. It's really about completely reimagining the public and cultural heart of Delhi's central axis. So, you might be wondering, what happens to the famous North and South blocks? Well, once all the ministries move out, the plan is to transform them into a massive new museum called Yuge Yugan Bharat, which means Everlasting India. According to the vision, this is set to become the world's largest museum, which would preserve the amazing heritage of the buildings while finally opening them up for everyone to see. And how are they going to connect all these new and old spaces? With a brand new dedicated metro line. And the genius here isn't just the route, it's how it all connects. It's basically creating the seamless public transport spine, linking the convention center, the new offices at Kartavya Bhavan, and that future museum.
It's the key piece that's supposed to turn this from a bunch of different places into one unified, easy-to-get-to public space.
So when you put all the pieces together, you've got the relocated offices, the brand new museum, the integrated transport. The stated goal is to create one of the world's largest public plazas. It's this grand vision of a continuous cultural corridor that stretches all the way from the seat of power on Rising Hill right down to the banks of the Yamuna River. And all of this leaves us with one last big question to think about. When you fundamentally reshape not just the buildings, but the whole workflow of a nation's government, and at the same time create these massive new public areas, you're doing more than just building. You're really making a statement. And it kind of makes you wonder, how can a project like this redefine the entire identity of a global capital for the future?